Blessings and peace to you. This is Sbfavor Thinking Podcast, and my name is Sbfavor. How are you doing today? It is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen when you focus on what is good. It is so important to be very clear about your thoughts and what your focus is, because focusing on the negative things is not beneficial. I always say that at the beginning of these episodes, because it's important to be reminded of where we should be and where we should remain mentally. So focus on what is good. I hope everyone is having a good day. And if you are out there traveling about, make sure you are not distracted. Make sure you say a prayer while you're on the move, and keep yourself safe and your family members safe, and wear your mask if you need to in certain situations, because people are starting to get sick again, yes, with COVID. So please, if you need to wear your mask in certain situations, wear your mask. But most importantly, if you don't wear your mask, make sure you use that hand sanitizer when you're out in public places and you get in your car and when you go home. Wash your hands. Just keep washing your hands. We all have to continue to do our part to stay safe and keep our family members safe. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $Sbfavor, or you can give at Venmo at Sbfavor. Once again, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $Sbfavor, or you can give at Venmo at Sbfavor. Thank you so much for your support and your donations. Well, the topic of this episode is just, I'm going to just talk about what happens when you pray about something and it doesn't happen. What do you do? How do you feel? What do you do? What do you think about when you pray for something and it doesn't happen? Do you doubt God? Do you feel that God isn't listening to you? Do you think about giving up on God? What are your thoughts? Have you ever been through something like that? Of course, I know you can't talk back to me, but I just want you to I just want you to think about what I am saying and the questions that I am asking, because I'm sure many of us have gone through something in our lives when we have prayed and we did not see that prayer answered, or maybe it wasn't answered the way we thought it should have been answered, or maybe it wasn't answered during the time that we thought it should have been answered. But this topic is pretty deep to me, because I'm sure a lot of people have gone through this. A lot of people have experienced what I'm talking about. But all of the questions that I just asked, I'm going to talk about the answers to some of those questions, because I have gone through some things in my life when I thought God should have answered a certain way, a certain time, or I didn't see it happen at all yet. Do I believe that God answers all prayers? I believe that God answers prayers the way He wants to answer and when He wants to answer. That's what I believe. I believe that, when you pray for something, I believe that God has a way of doing things His way, As a human being, we expect a quick answer. We expect for things to go our way sometimes. We expect for things to just work a certain way based upon our human experience, because that's what we are familiar with. And there's nothing wrong with just being human and thinking a certain way, because that's all we know is this human experience. And everything that is spiritual and everything that is supernatural is something that we are progressively learning about. So it's okay if you have this great expectation. It's okay. But in the midst of having a great expectation, you also have to think about God being a person that will do things the way he wants to do it, because he's God. We can't pray and just look to him as if he serves us. He doesn't serve us. God is not serving man. God is not waiting on us. He's not our waiter. He's not our fetcher, so to speak, if I'm using that word the right way. He's not fetching something for us. He's God. So if he decides to do something his way, his time, then as human beings, being the creation, we have to submit to the creator, right? So we have to align our minds, our attitudes, and our spirit with him. And if we don't align our minds and our spirit with him, then we hurt ourselves. How do we hurt ourselves? Because frustration, impatience, and anxiety, all that stuff is hurtful. All that stuff is hurtful. Feeling anxious, feeling nervous, worrying, all that stuff is hurtful. So if you align yourself with God according to how you think, align yourself with God according to maintaining the right attitude, then you will be in a better place mentally and spiritually. And how do you align yourself with God? Having the right attitude and the right thoughts and the right mental attitude. You align yourself by staying grateful. You align yourself by being steadfast, according to what you believe. Yes, remaining steadfast according to what you believe. Because if you believe something is going to happen, and you have faith that it's going to happen, you have faith in God that it's going to happen, then you have to have what is called unwavering faith. Unwavering faith. Unwavering faith is the type of faith that no matter what you see, no matter what's going on, you just believe that it's going to happen. You just believe that it's going to happen, and you may not know when it's going to happen, but whatever it is you're expecting and whatever it is you pray for, you just believe that it's going to happen. And it does not feel good when you're in that position. I know I can say that. I can say that because I've been there. It doesn't feel good. But if you just believe, all things will work itself out. Even though it doesn't feel good. But the process of the part that doesn't feel good, look at it like this. God is working on you. And anything that's on the assembly line sometimes gets banged up a little bit, right? So just look at it. Just look at it like that. Just look at it like your life is a process on the assembly line being made over, right? We were born into this world. We were born in the flesh. And now that we are here, we are being made over. We are being reshaped to something better and new, because that's what God is doing, because we all are in a process. And so I know it doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't feel good. I know sometimes when you have great anticipation that something will change or something will happen a certain way, a certain time, I know the feeling because I've been there. I know what it's like to anticipate and believe that something is going to happen and it doesn't happen when I think it's going to happen. It happens. Yes, the prayers are answered, but it doesn't happen the way I think it's going to happen, and it may not happen when I think it's going to happen. But we have to keep believing. So, with all that being said, now I'm going to ask you this question. What should you do? What should you do if you pray for something and it does not happen? Just think about that for a second. What should you do? Well, I did mention that, yes, you do have to keep believing. I also mentioned that we have to align ourselves up mentally, our attitude, the way we think. I said that. But I am also going to add to that to answer that question. One of the things that we should do is trust in a higher plan. God has a higher plan. And when we don't see something happen the way we want it to happen, or when we think it should happen, we should trust that God has a higher plan. Yes, we should believe and trust that God has a higher plan. And once again, I know that doesn't feel good. But we have to align ourselves with Him, align ourselves with God, to walk in peace, and to trust that He has a higher plan. Also, consider the timing of it all. Consider the timing of it all. And when I say consider the timing of it all, think about perfection. God does things with perfection. When it comes to how He does things with perfection. He does things with wisdom. And His wisdom and His perfection is nowhere near ours. Because we have a standard for what we think is perfection, and we have a standard for what we think is wise. But God's wisdom and God's perfection is higher than ours. It's better than ours. So, trusting in a higher plan and knowing that He has something better in mind, we have to trust it. We have to trust that He has a better plan in mind. And the process of waiting for answered prayer, also we have to continue to pray. Because I know sometimes when you don't see things happen a certain way, a certain time, I know the feeling, it could be quite discouraging. But you can continue to pray. Continue to pray because you need to be able to stay focused. You have to continue to pray because you have to maintain the level and the strength of what you have already established from your faith and from praying. So you have to keep praying. Reflect on what you prayed about. Meditate on it. Meditate on what you prayed about to build up your faith. Yes. And don't allow yourself to get into a place of total discouragement. If you find yourself frustrated or angry, talk about it. Write it down. Write it down in a journal. Pray about how you feel. Tell God how you feel. Talk to a friend. But most importantly, don't allow yourself to become so frustrated and so angry and out of control to the point now all of those emotions start to shape into something else that you don't need. Another tip would be to seek guidance. If you're struggling and you're trying to make sense out of something that you prayed for and it didn't happen, seek guidance. Talk to a family member, friend, spiritual advisor, someone that can provide a good place of support and a positive perspective. But once again, don't allow yourself to sink into a place of just bad emotions. Another tip is, in the moment that you are waiting for change or expecting the prayer to be answered, help others. Yes, help others. Take your eyes off yourself and what you're going through and help someone else. I say that because a lot of times in my life, in the midst of going through trials and life moments, I found myself helping others. I found myself going to church more, serving in the church, helping people, just doing something to take my eyes off myself. And when I say going to church more, I'm not talking about sitting in church religiously and hooping and hollering and all that. I'm talking about going to church to hear and receive knowledge, because some people, they become so religious minded. They think that, doing all these acts and all these works is going to make God do something quicker. And I'm sorry, that's not the case. I'm not saying that, taking time out to praise God and sing songs are not helpful. Yes, it is helpful when you sing songs and praise the Lord and all that. Yes, it is helpful. It's a beautiful thing. But doing a bunch of works, thinking that's going to change God's mind? No. That's not going to change his mind. Why? Because God is the author and the finisher of our faith. He is the one that has granted us grace to have faith, and he is the one that is working on our faith. He's the one that is processing us and working on us every single day so that we can be better than we were yesterday. So we can't change his mind. Yes, God is merciful. But if you are going through something and God has a plan for what it is you're going through, then he has a time and a way according to how he's going to resolve that situation. Yes. He has a time and a way according to how he will resolve the situation. God has a way of answering prayers with divine wisdom. Many, many years ago, I was in college and I had a friend. She was in my history class. And she told me that her mother was sick with cancer. So we were talking in class and she was just telling me about her experience with her mom. And she was telling me how she did not believe in God at the time. She was like, I don't believe in God. I prayed and God didn't answer my prayers and my mom ended up dying. So when she said that, of course, I didn't know what to say. And at the time, I was kind of lost for words. But she was pretty upset because she had so much confidence that God would answer her prayers and that her mom would be well. But her mom wasn't well because her mom, she suffered a little bit and she eventually passed. So in that moment, like I said, I didn't know what to say to her, but I did say, hey, let's hang out a little bit and let's, let's talk about this a little bit more, because I see that you need some answers, and here's my phone number, give me a call, and why don't you come to my church? So long story short, she went to my church. We met on I think it was a Sunday morning. So we sat through the service, we laughed, we talked or whatever, and then of course the topic again came up about her mom, but this time when the topic came up, she said, "Shrey, now I understand." She said, "God does things His way in His time for a reason," and she said, "We have to trust what God does." So when she said that, I just smiled and I said, "Wow, she got it." But I didn't have to tell her that. She learned that by developing a relationship with God. She learned that by understanding more about the sovereignty of God, and the fact that we're having a human experience here in this earth, but yet God is the one that is in control, right? So, but she understood, and today she is a blessed woman of God. She's a blessed woman. She ended up going to, I don't go to that church anymore, but she ended up going to church constantly, learning so much and just growing in such an awesome way. And so that whole experience was a blessing to me, because like I said, we were in school together, and then it's been more than 10 years, and seeing her evolve and transform over that time, it was awesome. But she learned about the very thing that I'm talking about right now. So when you pray about something, what should you do? Everything that I mentioned, it's helpful tips, it's helpful reminders, and it's something to just help you to walk it out and get through. Another tip is practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude is it's a focal point of looking at your blessings, to focus on the solutions and not the problem. And I know that's easier said than done, because when something is going on, it's almost like the problem, it sits there and it just won't move. It seems that way. But we have to do what we know to do to walk it out and walk through these things that we go through. We have to take action every single day, regardless of how we feel. We have to take action. And that action could be all of the things that I just mentioned. I'm going to go through all those steps again. Because when we take action, we're not just becoming subject to negative emotions or bad feelings or emotions that are not needful for us or beneficial to us. Frustration, disappointment, anger, discouragement, it's not beneficial. So we have to take action when we are going through something. When we are praying about something and we don't see something happening for change, or if we don't see something happening for the answer or solution, we have to continue to take action every single day. Taking action to be positive, taking action to walk it out, to be strong, taking actions to do all that we know to do. So I hope that what I'm saying is something helpful to you, because, like I said, I have gone through some things and I know what it's like, and I've been there more than once. And it's important that we have a mindset and a focus to just walk it out. When something doesn't go right, it's easy to just do all the wrong things and give up. It's easy to do that. But when you understand that all things in this life are a process, some things happen quickly, sometimes some things don't. But there are a lot of things in this life, they work according to a process. And all of us are in a process. We're on a journey. We're living a natural life, but we're really on a spiritual journey. And this spiritual journey has all these different complexities going on every single day. Sometimes we have what we call excellent, awesome days, and then we have challenging days. All of us. But when you pray for something and it doesn't happen quick enough, you have to, first and foremost, be strong, not give up, trust in a higher plan, seek guidance, continue to pray, maintain faith and hope, most importantly, practice gratitude, help others to take your eyes off yourself or the problem. Meditate, reflect on your prayer, and most importantly, express yourself to God. Express yourself to God with an honest heart. Yes. When you express yourself to God with an honest heart, you're basically telling Him how you feel. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with telling God you're upset. There's nothing wrong with telling Him how you feel. There's nothing wrong with that. I would rather get it out versus hold it in. Because when you hold stuff inside, that's a whole nother problem. Because holding something, within, it causes stress, it causes health problems, it causes migraines. Look, get that stuff out. Get it out. Talk about it with a friend, family member, spiritual teacher, someone you can trust. Pray about it. Like I said, talk to God. Tell Him how you feel. Tell Him how you feel. Be naked and not ashamed. Yes. Tell Him how you feel. So I hope that everything that I mentioned, according to these tips, I hope that this is something helpful. And if you're listening to this topic and if this doesn't apply to you in this season, it doesn't mean it won't apply to you in the next season, because this is a human experience. And we all go through different things, different times, different seasons, and some of the things that we go through are the same. It don't matter if you black, white, Asian, Hispanic, it don't matter where you come from. The human experience is the human experience, and pain does not discriminate. And in this life, with all the good that we experience, sometimes there will be challenges. And when we experience challenges, it just means that we are having a human experience. And that is where God comes in. Because without Him, how can we win? How can we live if we don't have Him? And for those that think that they can live without him, look, I'm going to tell you in an honest way, that's on you. If you think that way, God have mercy on you. That's what I say to you. I laugh because I have a sense of humor, but on a serious note, I say that's on you. If you don't believe what I'm talking about, that's on you. Because I share what I share and I say what I say because it's real. This is not my opinion. This is real stuff. And I know, like I said to a friend of mine the other day, I said, never debate with someone when it comes to spiritual topics. We're not supposed to debate with people, but there are people out there that debate. I'm one of those people. I do not debate. And that's why I say that's on you, because I will never waste my time sharing or telling someone something and they turn around and say, I don't believe none of that. Okay, you don't believe it? All right, see you later. So that's why I say that's on you. Because in this human experience, we have good times and seasons change, and we have challenging times. And everything that I just said and everything that I mentioned, according to the tips that I gave out, all those things that I mentioned, it helped me. It helped me, and it's helping me now. Maintaining faith and hope, practicing gratitude, helping others to take your eyes off yourself, stay in continual prayer, seek guidance, trust in a higher plan, accept and acknowledge what you're feeling, to recognize what it is. Like I said, the frustration, the disappointment, the discouragement. Recognize where you are. Recognize what it is. When I say recognize where you are, I'm talking about understanding the moment, your feelings in the moment. But most importantly, trust God. You trust God by knowing that He is God, knowing that He has given you breath in your lungs to breathe today. And if He could do that, then He can do anything. Because He did that, He could do anything. So I hope that this topic is helpful. I hope that it's giving you something to think about. I hope that you will consider what I'm saying. And if it doesn't apply to you for this season, trust and believe. I'm not saying you should project something negative to happen, but what I'm saying is we all have challenging times. We all have had challenging times or will have challenging times, because this is life and life happens to all of us. So, on that note, I will conclude this topic of this episode. And I thank you so much for tuning in to listen to Sbfavor Thinking Podcast. Remember, also, everyone has a unique spiritual journey. All of us have a unique spiritual journey. And on this journey, it is so important that we keep the faith. I had to say that because that is important. So, if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also reach me or find me on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to me wherever you listen to podcasts: Amazon Audible, Spotify, Apple, Castbox, Google Podcasts. Subscribe to me wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click like, leave me some feedback, and thank you for your support. And if you would like to give to the podcast, once again, you can give at Cash App, $ Sbfavor, or you can give at Venmo at Sbfavor. Thank you so much for your support, and make sure you share this podcast with others. Thank you so much again for your support. You have a good day.